Eagles. It's your boy Dave in the 702 coming at you for Tailgate Talk. Week 13, Drew, I forgot to change that. Shout out to my co-host all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish. Cry Eagles. Drew, it's the NFC Championship rematch of last year. And guess what? My quarterback, Brock Purdy, is 100% healthy, no injuries, and he's ready to rematch your team in what could be a preview of the actual NFC Championship playoff this year. Is you ready?
Dave, wasn't he completely healthy last year before the game started?
Perhaps. But he's even better now, Drew. Are you scared? Is the Eagles fan scared?
Hell no, we're not scared. Dave, come on, man. We won 14 straight regular season games against teams with winning records. We came back past 4 weeks against some of the best teams in the NFL and beat them. We even went to the best AFC team, supposedly, on their home field and came back 10 down and beat them.
Well, they always say, Drew, you're only as good as your last performance. And the 49ers, since losing those 3 games, have been on a tear and beating the brakes off of great teams like Johnny Savage's Jacksonville Jaguars, 8-3. Dallas Cowboys, 8-3.
Frauds.
Eagles, 10-1.
Not happening.
Shout out to everybody just joining us. It's Tailgate Talk, NFL Week 13. As usual, Drew and I are going to get started with some of the most recent power rankings, Drew. And this set of power rankings, I do enjoy, actually. This is coming off of USA Today, Drew. And as it stands, power rankings, they've got Philadelphia Eagles, number 1. No surprise. 10-1. 49ers, number 2. That's right, 8-3. But they're much better than all the other 8-3 teams I just mentioned. Dallas Cowboys, 8-3. Jacksonville Jaguars, smoked, demolished. Unlike the Dallas Cowboys that are playing tomorrow on Thursday Night Football that are 8-3. That's tomorrow, guys, versus the Seahawks, who just took a big loss at home. Drew, you said the Seahawks were going to beat the 49ers and they're going to be the NFC West champs. The Cowboys can only beat mediocre or crappy teams. So that is going to be our first pick of today. But let's get back to these power rankings. Let me know what you think, Drew, in just a second. Chiefs at number 3. Ravens at number 4. Okay, they still think Baltimore. Cowboys have now moved up to number 5. The Dolphins at number 6. The Lions, an embarrassing Thanksgiving Day performance by the Lions. Let me know who's listening. Are the Lions a hype job?
I look at the Lions. I think the Lions are actually starting to struggle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jared Goff is going back to old Jared Goff, making mistakes. And hopefully they turn it around by the time the playoffs come. But they're probably going to host. They are going to host a home playoff game, and everything. Right. Regardless, it's just that what's their seeding going to be? Because it's not going to be the number 1 seed. I don't even think they're going to be the number 2 seed.
Yeah, they've dropped down to number 7. And you're right. You know, Jared Goff does have that playoff experience, but I do think they're starting to crumble a bit. Let's see.
They're going to be the number 3 seed.
They can be the number 3 seed.
Yeah,
here's an interesting one. Jaguars are coming in at number 8, Drew, and I think C.J. Stroud played a hell of a game. And the AFC South could have potentially today, we could have been talking about Jaguars tied with C.J. Stroud's Houston Texans at 7-4. But no, they're
and they're only a game out of and tell you the truth, they're only like percentage points out of the number 1 seed now, the Jaguars.
Exactly. Number 9, hot on their heels, is the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud, an MVP candidate, and he played extremely well. And congratulations to Jacksonville Jaguars for getting it done. But others are going to say Houston Texans don't have any business being this competitive, and yet they are. I mentioned, he's a contender for MVP this year. And Drew, this Sunday, his game got moved up with Denver Broncos. That game, I believe the time changed. And that's very interesting because both of those teams are 6-5 with the Broncos on a 5-game win streak.
Yep. I look at it like this. The Texans do deserve to be where they're at because the Texans actually have players. The Texans are actually better on paper than people thought they were going to be. Texans actually got good corners, young corners that they're going to build around that they drafted. They actually signed Dalton Schultz in free agency. He was good for the Cowboys last couple of years. And that's a weapon for C.J. Stroud. You know, they got good young players there. And even though they're like dead the bottom in rushing defense and everything, they're still a good young team, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Then if they make the playoffs, they're going to be a hard out. Like, this kid has already shown that he's light years ahead as a quarterback, C.J. Stroud, in the NFL. And every, you know, people were debating on whether he or Bryce Young was going to be good this year. They didn't think neither of them would be good. C.J. Stroud really proved he was good. He's making the throws and everything, making the plays. And he's probably turned into an all-pro before our eyes in his rookie year. And no one expected to. But my 5 teams are number 5, I will go with the Miami Dolphins. They actually took apart a very good Jets defense last week. They haven't beat a good team yet, but you still have to give them that due a little bit, that they are beating good. They beat a good defense in the Jets. 4, I will go with the Kansas City Chiefs and everything. Good bounce back win. Mahomes showed he can throw the ball. The receivers can actually play a little bit if they do it the right way.
Speaking of, I got the phone line open, guys. If you want to call in and be part of the show today, I have to tell you, Drew, fresh on my mind is that you won that wager here against Brandon, which is a friend of Rhonda, for $25 against the Chiefs-Eagles game. And I was at the fight on Saturday at the Mandalay Bay, and they have this nightclub. They throw the nightclub. It converts into the Black Hole, which is the Raiders. Basically like the pre-party spot the day before the home game. It was full of Raiders fans. Actually, I thought the music was pretty good. I was getting into a disagreement. I thought the DJs were really good. And I have video of us at the club after the David Benavidez fight. And Drew, wouldn't you know it, there was tons of fans of Chiefs fans came to Las Vegas this weekend, but there was Chiefs fans kicking it in the corner. And I thought that shit was so funny. And I actually have video of it. So I hope to put that together, guys. I didn't get that video together yet, but Drew, they're straight up Chiefs fans at the Raiders nightclub representing. So I instantly thought of Rhonda, and I thought of Brandon, who you made that wager with. Remember, guys, the phone line is open, but if you guys don't feel like call, you can always just chat here. Shout out to Sin City Syndicate.
And like 3, I got the 49ers and everything. I got them at 3. I think that loss, those losses to Cincinnati at home,
right?
That they scored 34 on them, and the Niners only scored 17 on them, damaged them a little bit. And like the Browns game kind of damaged them a little bit. Like,
sure, yep,
like,
I'll agree. Those Browns, and here's the deal with that, Drew. The Bengals season has almost completely fallen apart now over losing their quarterback.
Yeah.
And people are talking conversation if these two teams should intentionally let their seasons go in hopes of getting a high draft pick.
Nah, because Deshaun Watson's contract is fully guaranteed, so they're gonna have to invest. They gotta keep him for that whole contract. But I look at it like this: number 2 are the Baltimore Ravens. You gotta look at it like this: they have a top 2 defense, and Baltimore 2 straight weeks have demolished the Seahawks and the Detroit Lions by giving up a total of 12 points. And number 1, the Eagles. Eagles continue to beat good teams, and they have the hardest strength of schedule in the league, and they are 10-1 with this schedule. even though it may not be pretty wins. But here's the thing: when you're playing good teams and you're winning, and great teams, and you're finding ways to win, it shows how much of a great team you are, and that character of never backing down, never bending, and playing the full 60 minutes. And the Eagles have shown that. They have not shown their best football yet. And to tell you the truth, it's very if I'm not the Eagles, I'm very scared right now when this team does put it all together, because they may be unstoppable by then. And tell you the truth, congratulations to Deshaun Jackson. Has officially announced yesterday that he is retiring after a 15-year career, and he's officially signed a one-day contract on Sunday to retire as an Eagle and become an honorary captain this Sunday again when they play the 49ers.
I did hear about that. Yeah, he signed a one-day game so he could retire as a Philadelphia Eagles. And he spent how many seasons with the Eagles?
He spent over altogether, because he had two stints over 10 years, like right. 11 years. I think 11 or 12 years of his 15-year career, he was an Eagle.
So as a captain, does he get to flip the coin?
He don't get to flip the coin. He get to be out there with the other two captains.
Right. Okay.
But
well, that's pretty cool. I did hear about that.
He's one of the best Eagles receivers of all time.
Right. A Pro Bowl. How many times is he a Pro Bowler?
I think it was a 6-time Pro Bowl. Tell you the truth, when Deshaun Jackson played, he was really unguardable because of his speed and everything. If he burns you every time, and you'll be able to get those long bombs and everything. Like, he was really unguardable when he was in his prime with the Eagles.
Drew, I want to ask you, who in the AFC is going to sneak into the playoff picture? Is it going to be the Texans, the Bills? Is there anybody right off the bat that you think are going to sneak in with a playoff?
Texans. The Bills got too much. The Bills have too bad of a path to go now. They got to go against they're on a bye week this week. Then they go to Arrowhead to play Kansas City. Then they go home to play the Dallas Cowboys. Then they play the Chargers, which could be a win for them. For them to have a chance, they can only afford to lose one more game. They're 6-6. 9-8 does not get you in, because there's going to be teams that finish. Multiple teams are going to finish 10-7. That's going to get those wild card spots. And even if they finish 10-7, is no guarantee because of the tiebreakers that he has to go with, because their conference record isn't that good, and they're just going to look at strength of schedule too. But they do got a good strength of schedule, but their conference record isn't that good either, and especially they're going to have to play Miami. They're going to have to go down to Miami too. So it's really it's an uphill battle for them. And you still I just don't see them making the playoffs. And like I said, Sean McDermott, when I said the coaches are on the hot seat, I said, don't be surprised if Sean McDermott's on the hot seat. Because this was a time that, hey, we thought Buffalo was a Super Bowl team this year, and they just had not been able to win back-to-back games since week 3. So, and then they blown a 10-point lead on 2 separate occasions in one game against the Eagles. And then out game, the Eagles 505 to 378 in total yards, and you still did not beat this team. It shows a lot. And it's a shame. And the fucked up thing is, the Buffalo Bills players have really embarrassed themselves. Bills try to intentionally hurt Cam Trice in that game, and he tried to hurt another offensive lineman on the Eagles with dirty play. And then when they went to the fans and they got antagonized by the fans, one of the players pushed an Eagles fan and then said that, hey, we pushed him because he threatened us and he threatened our families, which the video footage showed that they're lying. The players were lying. So you know there's going to probably be fines and suspensions for these players, and they should be. Why the fuck every time you interact with a fan in a negative way, you will say, "Oh, he's threatening my family, he's threatening me." Come on, guys. It only gets you so far as to saying that bullshit. And when they have video of that shit now, and you ask the security to eject them, and they say no because you started it.
Drew, I got some very interesting stats here. Of course, we got people. Ruli Ramundo says Wilson is starting to cook. We're talking about Russell Wilson of the Denver Broncos, who's won, 5 in a row. And they're taking on the Packers, Jordan Love, who's come on as a replacement. Of course, we know how Aaron Rodgers' season unfolded early on, Drew. But Aaron Rodgers started his career with 5 wins and 6 losses, which is exactly where Jordan Love is. 5 wins and 6 losses with 2,599 yards apiece. That's freaking bizarre. That's incredible that their stats are the same. And Jordan Love has a real test on his hands this weekend because Russell Wilson, wait a minute. Are the Packers playing? Did I get this right? Broncos are playing the Texans. So no, I got this all wrong. But does Green Bay Packers, do they have a chance to sneak into the playoffs?
They're not mathematically out, but I doubt they can push to make the playoffs. Like, I just don't think so. They got a good win against the Lions and everything. They played well, but I think that was just their, hey, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's how we fall. That's going to be their high point, is beating the Lions in Detroit on Thanksgiving.
This is interesting. Cincinnati Syndicate says Vegas futures today. Broncos are 30-1 to be the AFC champs in Vegas, but I know where to get the odds to 50-1. And wow, if they, not that they could pull that off, but man, that's a big payday right there for sure. So Drew, you ready to get into this weekend's game, starting with tomorrow, Thursday, and our picks here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go, guys. Thursday night football kicks off. Of course, if you've got Amazon or an NFL package, you could watch this game. I'm sure many of you will tomorrow. America's team, Drew, you started to say, yes, the Eagles are America's team. Dallas Cowboys 8-3 against the Seahawks, who just took a beating from the San Francisco 49ers at home. And let's see what DraftKings has the Seattle Seahawks. Dallas Cowboys are the negative 8.5 spread favorite. Do they cover that?
And that game's in Seattle, right?
That's an interesting.
I'm pretty sure that game's in Seattle, and they're away favorite. But I can understand why they're away favorite. But I'll be honest with you, I'll take the underdog Seahawks in this game.
Really?
I think I look at it like this. This is a step up.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cowboys, this is actually a team with a winning record still. They're 6-5.
That's true.
And everything. So and they're home. I don't think the Cowboys are as good as the Niners.
Well, we know that. They got humiliated. But are the Seahawks better than the Cowboys?
I think the Seahawks pull this out. I think they get back on. It's in Dallas. I'll probably pick the Cowboys then to beat the Seahawks then if it's in Dallas. If it was in Seattle, I would have picked the Seahawks. But
okay.
I'll pick Dallas.
So we got a correction from the great chat. Cincinnati Syndicate says it's in Dallas on Thursday Night Football, where Dallas is playing extremely well at home.
Yeah, I picked Dallas on this.
All right, we're both going with Dallas for the win that they cover the spread. All right, so we were going to move on to Sunday morning. This is a very interesting game. Miami Dolphins against the Washington Commanders, and how, Drew? The Commanders they've come close to winning so many games against good teams, Drew, but they're sitting at 4 wins and 8 losses against the Dolphins at 10 a.m. Sunday.
What's this game?
Miami Dolphins versus the Washington Commanders. And the Dolphins are the favorite by 9.5 points. Do they cover the spread?
I'd be honest with you, I would not be surprised if the Dolphins blow out the Commanders. They lost so much at the deadline and everything. I'm going to go with Miami to win this in a blowout.
This is interesting, Drew, because I kind of see that they're always on the verge of some type of upset, the Commanders. And Ruli says that the Commies win 28-24. Well, I'm not sure they win. I think the game's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be surprising. I think it could be just a field goal or one touchdown. So I don't necessarily think the Dolphins are going to blow them out, and I don't think they cover the spread. So I am going with, yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins to win, but they're not covering the spread. That's my
I'm
guess.
going to go with the spread.
You're going with way over that. All right, let's move on to Detroit Lions, Drew. They're just a -4 favorite to beat the New Orleans Saints. And that's a game
I would actually pick the Lions in this to cover the spread. I think New Orleans is like that division. The South is horrible. A team that could probably finish under 500 like last year, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did, can win a division at 9-8 and everything. It's just a bad division, and nobody wants to take that division and run away with it. But I will pick the Lions to bounce back.
The Lions bounce back after a very disappointing Thursday Thanksgiving Day performance. That was kind of a shocker, but I do think that they have all the tools to easily cover that spread. That's an easy one to call. Now this game's a little bit interesting, Drew. I know you're a friend that joined us on the first episode of the show is an LA Chargers fan. And the LA Chargers are going to New England, and it is supposed to be very, very cold. It's a West Coast team, and the game is at 10 a.m. on the East Coast, which means for these LA Charger players, they're basically playing at 7 a.m. in the freezing cold. Will that have any impact on this game, Drew? The Chargers are favored by 5.5 points, though.
I look at it like this. Brandon Stanley, the coach of the Chargers, has been asked repeatedly, do you think giving up defensive play calling will make a difference? He says, no, I'm going to keep calling the defense and everything. And to me, you're 4-7. You're likely going to be fired after this season because you've been given everything to get this team right. You maybe the only thing that may save your fucking job is to give somebody else play calling on the defense. It hasn't worked for you. It might be a spark in your defense to get better and win out. But I think they beat the Patriots. The Patriots Patriots are getting ready to get to a top 5 draft pick, which they have not been to in like forever. And, it's like that. And they may be looking for Matt Jones's replacement because it just hasn't worked. And I think the Patriot way of Bill Belichick is just not there anymore. We may be seeing the last games of Bill Belichick era in New England.
I tend to agree with you there, Drew. I think they're going to be parting ways at the end of this season. It's probably high times for that to happen, a big change. And as you said, they are amongst the worst teams, so they should probably just concentrate on getting a high draft pick for next season. So that's easy to call. We both agree the LA Chargers will cover the spread, Drew, but I think the Chargers have an even bigger problem. I was talking with a lot of football fans in Vegas this weekend, and they continue to tell me that Chargers fans, they're having a hard time building a fan base in Southern California, particularly where they're at with that demographic change.
Well, I look at it like this. So are the Rams. Like, it's like they're like home. Like, whenever teams go in there with big fan bases, they're like, it's like a home game for them. So, it's not only the Chargers, the Rams too. And like, I really think West Coast teams, West Coast has a lot more different team fan bases than the home fan bases that are well known. And it showed when the Eagles have come to LA to play the Rams or the Chargers. The whole stadium is full of Eagles fans.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. One of my friends said, LA has just got 2 sports teams, the Lakers and the Dodgers. And I'm like, damn, they really feel that way about professional football teams, huh? I guess so. All right, Arizona Cardinals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drew, is it their quarterback for Cardinals? Now he's playing and he's doing somewhat well here in spots. Is that enough to beat a team whose offense kind of seems to be alive now in the Pittsburgh Steelers?
They're 7-4. Surprisingly 7-4. They're just finding ways to win. and everything, and you don't know the identity like that yet, but they still win. I think they beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals is not really that good of a team. They are in a lot of games, but they just aren't that good to win games, even though they beat the Cowgirls. But
God, who knows?
so I picked the Steelers. Probably would pick the spread too.
So the spread, they're just favored by -5.5 points. So I tend to agree with you there. The Pittsburgh Steelers will easily cover the spread, maybe by 10 points or not, against the Arizona Cardinals. All right, Denver Broncos versus Houston Texans. I mentioned that game got moved. And, C.J. Stroud is leading contender for MVP, quarterback rookie against Denver Broncos. And a lot of people seem to think, including in this chat, that Russell Wilson's starting to cook now. Both of these teams have the exact same record. And I think that's one of the reasons why the game was moved. I believe it was moved to 1 o'clock for this Sunday. Houston Texans could have came very close to beating the Jacksonville Jaguars last weekend, Drew. This could be a totally different conversation. You got someone who's been to the elite level, to the very top, and you got a quarterback rookie that looks like he's a future star in the NFL. Who's coming out on top?
I'm picking the Texans. I think this is going to be a shootout, but I'm picking the Texans to win.
The Texans are favored by a spread of -3.5. I just want to see a good football game. I want to see if Russell Wilson still has it to pull one out of him. But I think the way C.J. Stroud has been playing offensively, I think he does win this game. I think he covers that by at least 7 points. What do you guys think about that? We got bronchitis 27 over 24 over the Oilers, but it's the Broncos. Anybody else think the Broncos might potentially? I know that Paul Martinez is usually in here. He's been almost right for the entire 5-game win streak of the Broncos. But does the Broncos win streak end this Sunday?
Yeah, it does.
All right, guys. 2 teams I could give a shit about. Atlanta Falcons versus the New York Jets, Drew.
Where's the game at?
We got the Atlanta Falcons as the favorite by just a 2.5 point spread.
Oh, man. I really, I'll have to pick the Falcons. Like, seriously, quarterback rules of the fucking Jets still haunt them and everything. Robert Saleh's likely going to lose his job after this season and everything because the way he's been managing this quarterback situation, and he just hasn't done it really much since he became Jets head coach and everything. He's improved the defense, but that's the only thing he's improved.
So, Sin City Syndicate is dropping his parlay for the weekend. Some tips here. And UNLV finds himself in a bowl game this weekend, I believe Saturday, at Allegiant Stadium right here in Las Vegas. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, we haven't been to a Raiders game, but we should probably go to a UNLV game to get our feet wet at that stadium. And what better game? I think they're playing. Who are they playing? Tell me again. Remind me who they're playing in that bowl game. UNLV, Drew, do you know?
Nah, I haven't really been following college football like that.
The Western Conference or whatever it's called, the Mountain West Conference. Anyways, yeah, shout out to UNLV for making the bowl game appearance this Saturday at Allegiant Stadium. And I was telling everybody what's really cool about that stadium is that they bring on this AstroTurf. They literally, the thing comes out and comes back into the field. It's crazy. They're playing Boise State. That's right, Boise State. And tickets are only $20. The hell? Anybody could afford that. The Uber ride to the stadium is probably more money than that. Or the parking to park at Mandalay Bay is probably more than that. But that is not a bad deal to go into a bowl game. I might have to consider that. Sin City Syndicate says I'm there. He's going. All right, guys. Let's see. After that, we have Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. This game is very close. They've only got Indianapolis Colts as a -1 favorite over the Tennessee Titans. Drew, here's the thing. Tennessee Titans are playing extremely well at home, and that's it. They play well at home.
Picking the Colts. I think the Titans are going to be heading into a different direction. They're going to be going to a rebuild, and I think Mike Vrabel is not going to be there for it as good of a coach he is. And I heard him being linked to the Patriots once Bill Belichick leaves. It sounds like they got the quarterback for next season. So, Derrick Henry may be on his way out after the season. I think it's going to look to a point that, hey, I'm going with the Colts to win this.
All right. Drew's going with the Indianapolis Colts. Well, they'll improve. If that's true, Drew, they'll improve to, let's see here, 6-6, keeping their season alive potentially.
Yep. And potentially in the division race too, unless there's a collapse with Jacksonville.
Right. All right. So moving on, Drew, and the absolute worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers, just 1-10 against the Buccaneers. And why did I read some people think the Carolina Panthers are going to upset the Buccaneers? Nobody else has it like that. The odds makers have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a -5-point spread favorite.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. They just fired their head coach, Frank Reich.
Right, and we saw what happened with the Raiders, right? That's why I think one of the reasons why they're saying this is that there's going to be a boost, a morale boost.
I don't see that. I look at it like this. Frank Reich, the assistant head coach, Deuce Staley, was fired too, and the offensive coordinator was fired. And I looked at it, and I'm like, okay, he didn't do a full season. This is his first season. He was one and done here. That's another coach that I don't see the reason. I thought he would. I don't understand why you did not give him at least 2 years to see where he was at. It's stupid, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm picking the Carolina Panthers to win in an upset.
There's got to be an upset. Even the worst teams have to beat somebody on their best day, right? Tampa Bay, why not now?
It's getting worse. Tampa Bay is getting fucking worse as the weeks go by. And to tell you the truth, the Carolina Panthers at 1-10 are not mathematically out of the playoffs yet because of how bad the fucking division is.
How's that even possible?
Because the division is so fucking bad, Dave.
Damn, 2-10. They win this game, they're 2-10, and then they still have a shot mathematically. That is incredible. Ruli Ramundo says Buccaneers 31, Carolina 7. I'm gonna go with you. I think it's fun to pick an upset here. Let's see here. Cincinnati Syndicate says Raiders Stadium 1 hour tour is $100. Boise State versus UNLV for $20 is a great value with a potentially high scoring football game. That is a good value. Like I said, if there's any opportunity to go, if I can pull it off this Saturday, I think I would go. Something to consider here. Bucks need to fire the coach, says Ruli Ramundo. All right, Drew, let's just see here. How many more games do we have here? We have. I'm gonna keep our game last. Of course, we mentioned the Cleveland Browns versus the LA Rams. No, we didn't, huh? Cleveland Browns versus the LA Rams.
I'm picking the Browns in this. I like their defense. I'm confident their defense can win them this game, and I think they're putting another quarterback in, the Browns. And I really think the Browns can win this game.
Nando says, who's going to want the Panthers job to get stuck with the owner and that tiny quarterback? Drew, what's up with all that talk? He's too small for the NFL?
I tell you the truth.
By today's standards?
A lot of these owners just really do not know how to run a franchise. And it's a shame. Like, these dumbass owners are only costing themselves money out the pocket, especially the Las Vegas one. That has $87 million already invested in 2 head coaches he still has to pay that he fired recently.
All right, Drew, the Cleveland Browns, I mentioned, there's rumor and speculation. They've gone through multiple quarterbacks. They now are saying Flacco might perform this, might be the guy to get the start this Sunday. Flacco, someone we haven't seen in a very long time. Amari Cooper is reportedly out this Sunday. Is this a good opportunity for the Rams for an upset, or you really still have the Cleveland Browns pulling this off? They have beat teams like the Niners.
I think Cleveland pulls this off. Stafford against good defenses lately has not really performed well. And he's got to come up big for the Rams to win this game. And I don't think he does that against this Cleveland defense, which is a top 5 defense.
They're still a top defense. Ruli Ramundo has the Rams pulling off the upset 30-24. Let's see what the odds makers had. I just got to remember here. The LA Rams are the favorite. That's interesting. They are the favorite by 3.5 points. All right. And Drew, you have the Cleveland Browns. I think the LA Rams shock it this weekend. And, well, I guess they're favored by 3.5 points. I think they win this game. All right, moving on. We still have a couple. We have our game and Sunday night primetime football. You won this bet recently. The Kansas City Chiefs came to Las Vegas and rebounded after that loss to your team, the Philly Eagles. That's Drew Evo says is now America's team, the Philly Eagles. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. They are favored by just 6 points, Drew.
I got to pick the Chiefs. I think the Packers really are not there. They got their win for the year. That's going to mean something. That's probably and then Jordan Love, he's playing for a contract extension. This is like an audition for them if Jordan Love is actually going to be the future of this team as the quarterback.
Well, I mentioned earlier that him and his predecessor in Aaron Rodgers are virtually tied statistically right now in their first 11 games.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I look at it. I think they're going to give him an extension and everything. And I think he's on a little of a short-term extension. If you keep bringing players to surround him and everything, see where you're at after that. It's time and everything start improving the offense a little bit and put around him and maybe try to lure some good defensive free agents there. It will work. Like, he has a lot of potential. You've seen it in games this year where he actually plays really well. He has the arm to do it and everything. He does have the IQ a little bit. It's just so a lot of times he just needs more around him and everything. And I think they're going to. I think they need to draft some more offensive linemen for that team for him, and maybe another receiver, or a tight end to add to it as a target for him. I think he's in the right direction, but he's not. But unfortunately, Green Bay is not going to make the playoffs, and they should just evaluate going forward what they have and what they need to improve on, and if they're going to re-sign Jordan Love to an extension.
Exactly. All right. Ruli Ramundo says 20-17 Green Bay Chiefs. I hate them. They win 20-17. I hope I am wrong on this one, though. All right, Monday Night Football. I'm going to move on to Monday Night Football before we get to the NFC championship rematch between Philly Irish's Eagles versus my 49ers. Let's move on to Monday night, Drew. Before the shoe shine, Cincinnati Bengals Burrows. He's out for the season, potentially out for his career against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they are favored by a lot. This is a -9 point spread on Monday Night Football. All eyes are on the Jacksonville Jaguars to maintain their AFC South first place lead. Do they cover the spread by that much of a margin? 10 points?
I can see it. Like, Jacksonville Jaguars do lead the league in takeaways. The defense does. I can see them covering the spread. But, they will. But here's the thing. These early wins and that winning streak kind of sealed this division for them, if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them blowing this much of a lead in this division that they have already. So I'm really seeing right now that they are still in the they are only a half game behind the number 1 seed. So You keep winning. You got to keep winning to keep pace for that number 1 seed. Because, tell you the truth, the Ravens have a hard schedule ahead of them for the rest of the way. So you realize the schedule's not as hard as the Ravens. Kansas City, they're going to have they're having their struggles still. They're trying to get it together on the offensive side still. You can snatch this number 1 seed up if you win. If you just keep fucking winning. And tell you the truth, they got the coach to keep this winning, to keep the winning range going. So I'm picking Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Ruli Ramundo has it 27-17, 10 points, covering the spread, and that would put them at 9-4 now, Drew, or 9-3, 10-3.
Be 9-3. I'm probably going 30-21 or 30-20.
Interesting enough, the over is 38 points. I think that's kind of low. Is it because the Bengals offense isn't doing much?
Yeah, the Bengals offense isn't really there now because of Joe Burrow and everything. So this could, depend on how it is, be a blowout. But I say they cover the spread either way. So I'm cool with that.
All right, now we have, last but not least, this is the most exciting game this Sunday. And Drew, I'm excited about this one. The 49ers played on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, and did admirably. They did very, very well against your red-hot Philadelphia Eagles in what some people are saying are the number 1 and 2 teams in the nation, Drew. How do you see this game going into, let's say, the half? Where do you see this score at the half? A lead?
I don't think the Eagles will be behind at half. I think this game, as I watch the last couple and I see the adjustments that both coordinators do for the Eagles at these last couple games, people got to admit, these guys adjust. They adjust, and they adjust well and everything. I think the offensive coordinator is going to stop being too cute with his play calls and just be physical. Like he was in the second half, having success and everything, won the ball, set it up, play action, get A.J. Brown going, get Devontae Smith going. Goddard might be back. Swift. I'm saying, I'm going to look at it like this. The Niners have to be there the whole game. They cannot let this game get out of hand quickly. And if this Eagles team starts putting it together this week, I really do not know how bad this could be for the Niners, but I don't think they're going to have it fully together, but they're going to win the game still. I think they're going to win 31-20. I think it's going to be a 14-10 game in favor of the Eagles. And I think the Eagles are just going to take over the whole second half.
Now I got to ask you, how does the team, the Eagles, plan on containing Christian McCaffrey? Can they hold him to less than 4 yards per carry?
I think the defense is going to start putting things together because we have two brand new coordinators on both sides of the ball. Desai is more of a bend, don't break type of defensive guy, but he blitzes a lot more than Gannon does, and he'll play a lot more press man and everything. I really think if you look at it like this, Christian McCaffrey, the only chance he has is be able to get outside. Because if he goes inside, you have in Jalen Carter with Jordan Davis in the middle. I don't think it's going to be good. And I lose this. And I look at it like this. The Niners, if that defensive line gets to Brock Purdy early and makes it difficult for him, you're going to be seeing why people are saying if you get the Brock Purdy early, it affects the rest of the game for him. Because it has. Every time this year, it is 3 losses. Teams able to get to him, able to blitz him early, able to sack him early, able to hit him early, and everything. And it caused them to make mistakes. In these losses, he has fucking like 4 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So I look at it. If the Eagles defense line gets to Brock Purdy early and hits him early, it's going to be a long day for Brock Purdy because his concentration will be out the window. And it just looks at it. It's going to be a close game until like the end of the third quarter. But I just think the Eagles pull away at the end. Like the Niners secondary is the weakness of their defense. You can say the Eagles secondary is the weakness of their defense. But mainly because they're still trying to put things together because it's been different lineups. But now you actually have this lineup, this same lineup now for this third straight week. So everything might start coming together this week. And if it does, I really start feeling bad for teams because the way this team's winning now, if they get it together, I think this team's unstoppable. I think this team can't be stopped.
I would have to favor that if the Eagles, if they could beat my team, the Bang Bang 49er gang, that they could be unstoppable going into the playoffs. But I have a hard time thinking that the Eagles are going to contain our receiving core. I'm talking about George Kittle, Deebo Samuels. We've got too many tools, Drew, to throw the ball down the field.
It's crazy.
And a lot of your games have come extremely close where you guys have gone into overtime. And we've lost a game as a result of our rookie kicker. We really should be at the very least 9-2, where we lost that game with a failed, very easy missed field goal. I think this game comes down to the very end, Drew. And I like what the Vegas odds makers have. The 49ers have covered the spread repeatedly. I think the 49ers win by a field goal. This could come down to an overtime game, or it could just come down to a field goal at the very last with just minutes to play left. But I need to know, the people that are watching right now, I've been thinking about what would be a good bet between Drew and I, because I ate a fucking pie on the shoe shine for the NFC playoffs last year. Some of you guys don't remember. I didn't turn it into a short. You'd have to go find the damn video. But I took a pie to the face. So I'm thinking, Drew said no pies. And here's what I'm going to propose to you, Drew. If the 49ers lose this Sunday, in December, I was thinking, I will let you control the entire Monday night shoe shine this coming December. Not necessarily this Monday. The entire show. And for the first 5 minutes, I will shut the fuck up. That's right. I'm not allowed to talk. I will put a counter up here. Drew Evil will have the entire first 5 minutes, not only to run the entire narrative of the show, of the episode, but I can't speak for 5 minutes. What do you guys think about that? Eagles win. I have to shut up for 5 minutes. Maybe I'll hold some Eagles something. I don't know. But what would Drew do if the 49ers win? That's what I'm offering, Drew. We already got silence now.
If the Niners win, I have to go on the shoe shine in December and say every nice thing about Canelo Alvarez, and Ryan Garcia for the whole episode.
That's a good troll. I'll take it. What do you guys think? Is that good enough? Like who else?
I have to say everything nice about Ryan Garcia for the whole episode.
That's not enough. Ryan Garcia.
Okay, I'll give you another one.
And, okay. Nando says, and Devin Haney too, by the way. And that's perfect because I was thinking not this Monday, but the week after, which would be Devin Haney's week.
I have to say, here's the thing. You give me two episodes of that, and I'll give you one. If the Niners win, I'll give you Devin Haney on Monday, and I'll give you Ryan Garcia on another Monday.
We just roll it all into one show. You can't say any. You have to speak extremely highly of Devin Haney, Canelo Alvarez, and Ryan Garcia, which is fighting this weekend. I like it.
And your thing in December?
Yes, it'll be the Monday after Devin Haney fights.
But here's the thing.
We'll honor that bet.
If the Eagles win, I get my 5 minutes, but in the background, you have to play the Eagles fight song while I'm speaking.
That's fine. Fine. That'll be so December 9th is Devin Haney's here in San Francisco. Shout out to my Niners fans, San Francisco Giants fans. Devin Haney fights, so that would be the 11th. I lose. I got to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes, and Drew controls the entire Shoeshine episode on Monday night. I win. Drew has to sing praises for all the three fighters for a whole show. It'll be like a new co-host. I won't even recognize the guy.
Yo, Uli, I'll be honest with you. If Ryan Garcia gets knocked the fuck out, I'll still say something nice about him.
You have to. That's the thing. Exactly. By the way, guys, I'm very excited about that fight. This Saturday on DAZN. I know there's some heavy bettors in here. I'm going to go with Oscar Duarte. I'm going to go lay a bet on Oscar Duarte for the upset. I don't even know what the odds are. I'll have to check DraftKings on that right now.
It's not even a bad bet. It's not even a bad bet, Dave, to be honest, betting on that. Because tell you the truth, man, like timing beats speed every time. If he can time him, it's an upset coming. Ryan Garcia also struggles with smaller guys. Look at it. So
yeah, we could potentially be seeing the end of Ryan Garcia in 2023 if he gets knocked out, and we could see the rise of Devin Haney potentially as a big new American star if he picks up another title at 140 against Regis Prograis all in the span of 2 weeks. It's not bad for the sport of boxing, and we've got a great month of football still ahead in December. Appreciate everybody that rocks with you guys with us, Drew and I. It's December next week. It's the holidays. It's time to get into the spirit. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And please get the word out. Help our channel grow. We should have a much bigger channel. I know we should. But I need to work harder on that myself. So I thank you guys once again. Nando has a little information for us. Good card this weekend in spite of the Barroso fight being postponed. Wow. And that Barroso fight, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Drew, that's the fight where Rolly Romero was just gifted at the Cosmopolitan Loss. He just gifted the belt. Like the fight was just called off. It's over. The fight's over. So we'll see when the guy comes back. He'll probably be 50 years old when he gets to fight again. He's already old, pushing age. Drew, your final thoughts on week 13 in football?
I looked at a lot of, I'm looking at everything. I got to make my own parlay up later tonight with Barnet. I'm going to look at the odds again. Probably gonna make a little parlay up. Tell you the truth, I have not won on a parlay yet, but I still continue to do $5 or $10 parlays just for the fun of it, and everything doesn't kill me and everything, just to see if I win extra money. Because the parlays I do, tell you the truth, the amount of games I bet on, it actually gives me a good amount of money to look forward to in case I kind of get lucky and everything. But it's always one team you think that fucks you over at the end.
Nando Lamas. Oh, shit. Sorry to interrupt you, Drew, but Nando says Davies had issues with his visa. It's pushed back to the Virgil Ortiz card. And I have my good friend Fonzie actually asked me if we want to go see the Virgil Ortiz fight. So I might actually go check that one out. All right, I'm Dave in the 702. Philly Irish Drew Evo. We got the bet now, just in case you guys forgot. 49ers win. Drew's got to sing praises for an entire episode to Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Canelo Alvarez. Dave loses. The Niners lose. Drew controls the entire Shoe Shine episode December 11th, and I have to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes while Drew does his rant playing the Philly Eagles anthem.
Play song.
I like it, Drew. I'll see you next Monday. I'll see everybody here next week, next Monday night. Enjoy your weekend. Watch some boxing and potentially watch Ryan Garcia get knocked the fuck out. We'll see you guys next Monday. Peace out, everybody. Late.